Fox News alert for you now. Live pictures. This is Cairo, Egypt, where violent anti-American protests have now entered their fourth day, and they're expected to get even worse. 4 people, though, apparently now in custody for the horrific attack and murders in Libya. 4 Americans died there, including U.S. Ambassador Chris Stevens and 2 Navy SEALs.
All right, so could the assault on our American consulate in Libya have been avoided? A new report this morning claims the White House had credible information on the attack 48 hours in advance. That, according to a newspaper in London called The Independent. Michigan Congressman Mike Rogers, is chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, will be briefed by CIA Director David Petraeus later on today, and a former FBI special agent himself. Your reaction, sir, to that report?
Well, we have seen nothing yet, and as chairman of the Intelligence Committee, I have seen nothing yet that indicates that they had information that could have prevented the event. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I just haven't seen it yet, and we should be cautious about that. There's a difference between having lots of information flowing in, which we've had over months, about the trouble that was brewing, and especially al-Qaeda in the Maghreb looking for Western targets to strike, and the Maghreb being the northern part of Africa. So we knew that there was at least an interest in violence. This is the same site in Benghazi that had been attacked by an IED a couple of months prior to that event. So we knew that there should have been a heightened level of security just for those reasons.
Well, here is what that independent quote says. According to senior diplomatic sources, the U.S. State Department had credible information 48 hours before mobs charged the consulate in Benghazi and the embassy in Cairo that American missions may be targeted, but no warnings were given for diplomats to go on high alert and lockdown, under which movement is severely restricted. Now, aside from that, Congressman, what do you make of the fact that now the safe house in Benghazi is known, obviously, and there's reports that sensitive documents may be missing, and also that Libyans who were working with Americans to help them are now outed?
That poses a whole new set of problems. That's why a breach of our embassy or our consulates is a very serious matter indeed, not only for the loss of life that you saw, but there's information, obviously, that should be classified, should be state secrets because of the work that we do as a diplomatic mission overseas. Any of that information that gets out can be construed as sensitive and is a loss. Now, there are procedures at embassies and consulates when something like this happens, when the wall is breached. Certain things are supposed to be done. There's still being a thorough review completed that said, you know, what did we lose? Did we lose any information? I don't know if it's very clear yet today that we've lost something that might jeopardize the life of some Libyans yet.
Well, I could at least say the Libyan government expressed regret, where the Egyptian government is just getting around to it. Their language has been horrendous. They could call it a bad case of rookie-itis or an intention to support those who are protesting. But back to Libya for a second. 4 have been arrested. The FBI just got on the ground there. Should we feel better as Americans that 4 are arrested?
I'm not comfortable yet. We haven't seen exactly who they are and what they have that led to their arrest. We need to make sure that there's no PR campaign here. Every single one of those individuals should be brought to justice as swiftly as possible. Long-term political trials probably aren't in the best interest of sending a very clear message that the United States will not tolerate attacks on our sovereign territory. And by the way, those consulates are sovereign U.S. territory. Right. And so we've got a lot more to do here.
Well, Congressman, where's this going, though? I mean, we're now the 4th day of this violence in Cairo, and now it's expanding potentially to other countries, not even nearby. Where's it going?
Well, this is what's so troubling about what's happening in Egypt. You saw Morsi didn't come out very strongly. He did not condemn the attacks right away. You know, didn't get a lot of attention, but about a month or so ago, he moved tanks into the Sinai, that area between Israel and Egypt, which was in violation of the treaty. That caused a quiet diplomatic row, if you will, and there were some negotiations to get him to pull back from that. He really didn't do it. So I think what you're seeing is this new Muslim Brotherhood government starting to feed their population and get them, listen, we're going to have horrible economic problems. Maybe we should blame Israel. Maybe we should blame the United States. We certainly don't want to blame ourselves. This is really troubling times. And we better be strong today, or this is only going to spread. And we've neglected a solid policy in the Middle East for 4 years now. We need to move in a different direction.
Maybe those Egyptian people should find out that the U.S. gives Egypt $1.5 billion a year. Yeah. That might be the starting point.
And we're working on forgiving their debt at the same time. And I think Morsi senses that and is maybe pulling back, perhaps. We'll see.
Pulling back, Brian, is not enough. We need to be very tough right now with these folks. It is their responsibility to protect that outer ring of our embassy and stop the messaging that would allow people to think it's okay to conduct acts of violence against the U.S. or Western allies.
I look forward to you relaying how your meeting goes with David Petraeus later today, whatever you can relay, and we'll have you back on. Congressman, thanks so much.
Thanks, Brian.